Just basically saying, yeah, we did it, just keep your fucking mouth shut.
Yeah, 100%.
How mad would that be?
I'm loving it.
You photoshopping, blah, 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 blah. Suck him up, I was fucking... Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
There's a page. Go check it out. You tell us for a while, can't you? Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Mr. Mysteries in Black and White with your two hosts, myself, Ed, and my main man, Josh.
How are we doing?
How are we, Josh?
Yeah, not too bad, brother. Not too bad. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Well, I've got a question.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Kind of goes on from last week. And the last week's question was, what would win? 100 men or a gorilla?
Mm-hmm.
This week, what would win? 100 men
Yeah.
or a Bigfoot?
Fuck's sake. It all depends. Again, it all depends. It's all, we need context. Like, how big's Bigfoot? Are we talking prime alpha male, like silverback level Bigfoot?
Yeah. Let's say, on an average, 9 foot. 9 foot tall.
Part of me, this is a head and heart thing. My head is saying Bigfoot, but my heart is I'm sorry, other way around. Heart saying Bigfoot, but my head's still saying it's 100 man. Them,
Yeah.
it's 100 man. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's a lot of people. That's a lot of body weight that Bigfoot's gonna have to put up.
Yeah.
But then again, if we're going like from everything we've heard about Bigfoot, that nigga could just pull down a fucking tree branch and just start swinging.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you know what I mean?
That's
so.
true.
Do you know what? I'm going out there, Bigfoot.
Yeah.
I'm going Bigfoot. Yeah, let's do it.
That's if they can find him.
Yeah.
No, I think I'd like to say Bigfoot. Because, gorillas are fucking massive. But then they're only, I think, tallest at 5 foot.
5'9", I think the biggest recorded is.
Right. Yeah, 5'9". 9 foot.
Yeah, it's a big old
quick.
Boy. You got to get... You're going to get his head.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think I'd be pulling his head off.
No. And especially, like I said, if he pulls a branch down and starts swinging like Con, then
yeah,
he's winning.
Yeah,
he's winning.
100%. All right. Who do you think would win? One Bigfoot, a 9 foot male Bigfoot, or 100 men? Let us know on our socials and in the comments, and all the other ways. DM us.
Imagine if that started like we've just created another trend. Like how big the men v gorilla one's got. Imagine if, like, worldwide, within a few weeks, everyone's on about 100 men or a Bigfoot, and we started it.
Yeah. Oh, no, we didn't start. I saw it on Reddit.
Oh, okay.
Let's fuck that up, then, innit? Well, last week we spoke about Slender Man and Siren Head, and hopefully you've seen it. If you haven't, please watch it. But at the end of the episode, like we do on every episode, Josh gave us a little taster of what we're going to be talking about today. Yeah. And, of course, you can see the title. But if you don't know what the title means, because, to be honest, I've never actually heard of it.
Nor have I. Well, I have now, but...
Well, that's the end of the episode.
But no, I was just literally just scrolling through, like, YouTube, and, you know, like, you got that For You page that just comes up with a load of random stuff.
Yeah.
I see something that I think...
I've just got to say, my wife and my son have ruined my YouTube.
Oh, no, I bet.
Because
I bet.
Yeah, because it's signed in onto mine on the telly and that, like, it's ruined. Absolutely ruined. I used to have it up there all about cryptids or diggers or dinosaurs, you know, everything what a man should watch is gone.
No, it's just Cocomelon.
Yeah. Well, no, yeah, it's mainly Finny the Shark, like Baby Shark, makeup tutorials.
Oh, God.
For Courtney, not Jax. Don't get twisted. And yeah, it's stuff like that. And I'm just.
What have you done?
I actually have to now search for stuff I want to watch. But the thing is, I don't know about you, but sometimes when I'm on YouTube, like I really want to watch something, but I don't know what.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
that is where the For You page comes in handy.
Yeah.
It really does.
It does for normal people who have their own YouTube.
Yeah.
But, you know, mine's ruined. Absolutely ruined. Thank you, Courtney. Thank you, Jackson. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Nah. But no, like I was saying, there was like, I was just scrolling through my For You page, and it just come up, I think it said like, And the headline was how one man nearly destroyed an entire town with exotic animals or something like that. And I was just like, wait, what? Clicked on it for 5 minutes. I'm like, oh, okay then. And literally all that kept going through my head was podcast episode. I was like, say less, I'm doing this.
I mean, I've heard vaguely about something happening. Because when did that happen? That was a few years. 2011, yeah. I remember hearing something about it, but that was it.
Yeah.
Like, never really crossed my mind ever since.
Nah.
So it's not very... I mean, it might be where you are, but for us, it's not very well known. So
no, especially as it's in like such a small town, like in a state that really gets... You hear about it more nowadays, but back then you don't really... Like, it was in Ohio. Like, Ohio, not disrespecting anyone's from Ohio, but it's not exactly on the level of, like, a Florida or New York or, you know...
Especially Florida.
Yeah, like...
Everything bad shit happens in Florida. But no, let's not tease you anymore.
Nah.
So grab a drink, grab something to eat, sit down, relax, and listen to Josh's dulcet tones of...
Dulcet tones? What have you been eating this week?
I haven't had anything this morning.
Oh, God. Oh, maybe your brain's just ticked in.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe the lamb stew's done you a favour.
It has. It's only took 29 years.
Oh, don't say that. Oh,
Nearly
God.
30.
30.
Honestly, my life's ended.
Fucking a pair of coffin dodgers. Look at the state of us.
Pretty much. But yeah, so Josh.
Yeah, but
tell us about the Zanesville Incident.
Right. So, in 2011, the small town of Zanesville, Ohio, experienced a situation that nobody could have predicted. This all occurred thanks to one person, a man called Terry Thompson. The small town of Zanesville, Ohio, is a small, quaint little town which is known for its famous Y Bridge and known for being the pottery capital of the world.
The pottery capital?
Mm-hmm. They make bare pottery and shit.
I wonder where that's... What's that, Phil? It's a ghost. Where they have that pottery scene and it's all very... sensual.
God knows.
I think so.
God knows.
Ghost. Yeah, because because Patrick Swayze. It's all very,
never heard of it.
Very lovely and all that. Right, yeah,
it's got a man like Swayze and it's got to be.
He was a good-looking bastard.
He was, to be fair. Is he dead?
Yeah, he died years ago.
Oh. R.I.P. Patrick.
Yeah.
It's a very communal town where everybody knows everyone. However, there is one man who stands out more than any, and that is Terry Thompson.
Big Terry.
Big old Tezza T.
Dr. Terry. Terry Tips.
Terry Thompson was a decorated Vietnam War veteran whose main role was a machine gunner on a Huey helicopter.
Huey? I don't know. That's coming out.
His wife, Marion, was a school teacher and avid horse rider.
So we don't get sound effects, are you doing it?
Many of the residents knew of the Thompsons due to Terry having flown a plane underneath the famous Y Bridge. However, their unique lifestyle didn't fit in with the rest of the town, and this also didn't help them go unnoticed.
Well, yeah. He flew a plane underneath a bridge. Like,
why'd you do that, Terry? Banter.
Yeah. This... Of course, that people are going to be a bit wary of
especially if everyone knows anyone. It's like, oh, there he is. Look, dodgy Tez.
Yeah.
Tap Terry.
Tap Terry. Trigger happy Terry.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Hindsight. Hindsight. He shot himself.
I've just spoiled it.
He literally was. Oh, that is perfect.
How we've just laughed, made fun of a man who committed suicide.
It's sad, but it was just how perfect that was.
I didn't
have
realise.
a clue. And it's just like, oh God.
Fair.
Yeah, so they didn't help him go unnoticed. They also kept a load of old cars scattered around their property and simply just left them to rust. So they were quite known as being like hoarders,
right,
but not as like your natural hoarders where you look in the house and it's just filled to the brim of like rubbish and newspapers and shit.
Yeah.
These like went on a whole different level when it comes to hoarding. But Terry was best known for housing multiple firearms and opening his own illegal firearms selling business. This soon came to an end when the police raided his house and seized 133 guns.
Trigger happy Terry.
Yeah.
Strikes again.
His marriage to Marion was beginning to show cracks as well when he accused her of being the one who ratted him out to the police. and he was also known to be verbally abusive towards her. After 40 years of marriage, Marion separated from him, and quickly after this, Terry was sentenced to 10 months in prison for the firearms incident.
Right, fair.
He was released from prison just a few days before the infamous incident took place.
That is mad, though. He only got 10 months.
Yeah.
He got 10 months for having over 130 illegal firearms.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he probably wasn't, but he could be like he is an illegal arms dealer.
Yeah.
Surely that's like big time. Surely.
I suppose it's a case of, though, if, like, say for argument's sake, someone bought the gun and then used it, then obviously would that would class as like second degree murder or something like that, or like because you've supplied.
Yeah, so conspiracy. To
so I suppose if somebody hasn't killed anyone necessarily with them or done any damage, realistically, he has just sold something illegal. It's not as bad as it could have been.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he was also constantly being questioned by the police for the welfare of the 56 exotic animals he kept and the safety of the public. And this is what I mean by he was a unique hoarder. Everyone who knew him, especially like his close friends, said he could not stop buying these animals.
Fair.
The welfare became more concerning when they discovered that he not only had these dangerous animals, but was keeping some of them in various cages, circumstances. For instance, he had 2 tiger cages in his garage. He kept monkeys in his basement, and the most bizarre is he kept a mountain lion in one of his bedrooms.
You imagine if you was a mate, you'd been out to the bar all night, got a bit tipsy. It's like, oh yeah, stay at mine, and you go in the room.
Spare room.
Yeah, go in there. And it might be all quiet for a start, and you wake up spooning a fucking cougar.
Or it's like
not the good kind either.
It's like you're all right with cats, and you? Yeah, I love cats. I love cats. Open the door on his mountain lion. Yeah, well, there's Tiddles.
That's what I mean. Like, what do you mean? Like,
he's just more like mauling your neck. It's like, oh, don't worry, he's only playing.
Yeah. Oh, him.
Classic.
Yeah. While he's standing there with one arm.
It's like, you could have warned me. I said I had a cat.
Yeah.
You didn't ask specifics, did you?
What kind of cat?
I'm fucking, you meant a fucking tabby, not a mountain lion, boss. Well, at this point, after being released from Terry,
Terry released from Terry. Well, he did
well, he technically did, yeah. Well, after being released from prison, Terry had hit rock bottom and was drowning in debt. So on the evening of October 18th, 2011, as the day was drawing to an end, Terry released 50 of the 56 animals before taking his own life. These animals included a Massacu monkey, 1 baboon, 2 wolves, 2 grizzly bears, 3 mountain lions, 6 American black bears, 17 African lions, and 18 Bengal tigers. Yeah, he had this lot on lock.
Fuck me!
You hear some people when they go like, "Oh yeah, I've got a mountain lion or whatever."
Not 18
common. Or 17 of the fuckers on top of every other animal you've got.
Because I mean, like Terry Irwin, like Steve Irwin's wife, like she was at an animal rehabilitator back home. She was from Oregon.
Yeah,
and she used to keep mountain lions and that, but. Fucking hell!
On that, like, how much food must that lot take? I know we did feed them like on a lot of like, a lot of people do when they have these sort of animals. They feed them like roadkill and like butcher parts that don't get used and things like that.
Yeah, awful. And
how much must he go through?
That is ridiculous.
Because you think how much one like tiger needs?
Yeah,
18 of the fuckers.
Yeah,
on top of 17 lions, fucking what is it? 8 bears.
Yeah.
2 wolves. Do you know what I mean? That is nuts.
You're just more annoyed because he's living your dream to have.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%.
Bears.
I know. I'd never leave my home again, ever.
Oh, which by the way, because we've been away for 6 months, you ain't showing them your new ink.
My new what?
Ink.
Oh, we said my new wink. I was like, well, I've had a cock extension. What's going on here? Shit. No, can't really see it. Yeah, boy.
Yeah. Speaking of bears.
I'm officially inked up, boy.
See, there's one. And there's another.
There's another.
So sick.
Shout out Stacey Walker. Fucking legend.
Yeah.
But yeah. The only ones Terry didn't release were 2 celeb crested Massacus, which are like type of monkeys. For those macaques, that's the one. A small grizzly bear and 3 leopards. So yeah, more big cats. What
kind of leopards?
I don't know. I think it's just
generic,
I think it's just
yeah,
generic
yeah.
leopards. Yeah. Bizarrely, almost no one was injured. However, this easily could have not been the case, as there was a kids' football tournament taking place at the same time, less than a mile down the road where the animals were released.
You imagine that? I mean, I guess it's like American football.
No, I think it was
Like
soccer.
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 That's football, because you use your feet. Football. You imagine that, like, on my head, and as you go, like, fucking bears. Cool, he's a big goalkeeper. Smacks you down.
That's what I mean. How nuts. Like, I feel this is why I wanted to cover it, because it is a sad, like, just skip ahead, it is sad, like, a lot of these animals did get killed. But just how fucked up this could have gone.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if one of these animals escaped, it would have been bad enough.
Yeah.
If every one of them got
50.
out of the... 50
That's what I mean. That could...
are the biggest dangerous animals on the planet.
Yeah.
This could have been a disaster.
What's he got in his swimming pool? Fucking great white.
I wouldn't put it past him.
No. Great whites can never be in captivity.
That still baffles me, though. But I know it's obviously legit in that, because we've spoke about it countless times. But of all the animals, that's the only one. I mean, obviously a blue whale, you can't stick that in a tank. But,
no, but I mean, it's a lot of different sharks.
But like, so many have tried, like with great whites, but they never. Why don't they survive? I don't get it.
The great whites, they just travel for miles. They migrate a lot.
Yeah,
and when it's like a lot of animals, when they're too encased, it's like they get anxiety.
It's just like stress kills them, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. And they will just bash their heads because they're trying to get out.
Yeah. What is the longest the shark's gone in activity? It's not long at all, is it? Like a month or something like that?
It was something like that, yeah. And that was a young great white, and that was in Japan, I believe.
Yeah.
I think we spoke about it.
Probably on the Megalodon episode of
either
any.
Megalodon or a SeaWorld.
Yeah.
I think it was something like that. I remember we did speak about it with Connor.
Yeah.
Like I say, if you need to know anything about marine life, he is the man.
Good boy, yeah.
Like I'll probably like to sound more knowledgeable on sharks than him, but everything else, he's the man.
Yeah.
He's unbelievable. I love hearing him talk about it. It gets me all giddy.
Yeah.
Gets me all giddy.
Because he has got a proper passion for it.
And it's
like
so lovely
play.
to see. It's so... Because I wouldn't say I'm bored, but like so many people are just like the generic things. Like, I mean, we're guilty of it. We love football.
Right, I know what you mean. Yeah.
But like...
For him,
it's like a proper curveball.
Yeah.
It's just like... Yeah, no, I've got a real interest in aquariums. So I imagine it for some people, I can't imagine a lot, when they say, yeah, I like cryptids, Bigfoot.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, fuck, that's...
Yeah,
that's
it's
peculiar.
rare. It's more rare.
Yeah.
So it's like when you hear somebody say it, it's like, oh, fair play.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And it is just lovely to hear him speak.
Yeah. So, shout out Connor.
Big up Connor. Love Connor.
Where was I? Yeah. So the situation first became common knowledge when retired school teacher and Terry's next door neighbour, Sam Kopchak, I think his surname is, apologies if I butchered that, was tending his own horse outside when he noticed Terry's horses acting strangely. He began to walk towards the fence which connects Terry's house to where his horses were kept to see what was going on. As he got closer to the fence, he noticed a giant male African lion just sitting by the fence.
Here, kitty.
This obviously startled Sam, and he slowly walked back towards his barn, because even he realised the worst thing you can do is turn around and bolt it. Yeah. Because then obviously...
They treat it as a game.
Yeah.
It's like
old din-dins.
Yeah. But usually with male lions, they're not more inclined to hunt.
No, it's the females that are the hunters, isn't it?
The male protects the pride, whereas the female's actually the ones that hunt.
Yeah.
But even then, male lions are fucking scary.
Yeah, you still don't want a...
Do you know what? I bet if it's like easy picking, you ain't going to say no to that, is it?
When I was growing up, it was so common. So many kids loved the lion and that. But it was only in recent years I realised how you can see why they are so loved. How majestic they are. Like, beautiful they really animals. Are the kings of the animal kingdom. Yeah, they are so stunning.
And it's like when you see the video and how they look at you, it's like they're looking through. Yeah, they're looking through your soul. Yeah, and they're they're
incredible animals,
amazing animals.
So this obviously started Sam. Where was I? Yeah, this obviously started Sam, and he slowly walked back towards his barn. Sam states that the fence was only 7 strands, smooth, wide fence, and if the lion wanted to, it could have easily jumped it and gone after him.
Yeah, lions can jump ridiculously
high, yeah.
I'm pretty sure I've seen a video where like a lion is just fucking Shaquille O'Neal with a fucking giraffe's head. Boom. And it's, you know what I mean? It's
yeah.
Like,
oh, you see animals when they're trying to bring down giraffes, and you see like the lioness literally just leap onto its back. You're like, how did you get up there, mate?
Yeah, that's like, honestly, it's just so. Thing is, when I was a kid, everyone loved lions, so I was always like, "Nah, I'm gonna be different."
Yeah,
that's where like my love for crocodiles and sharks came from.
Same with me and Bess.
Yeah, and it's like say my later years, I've really come to respect them.
Yeah,
and like actually like nah. Kids had a point.
Like, that's what I mean. Like growing up, it's like obviously we all were fans of Disney and that, so we love the Lion King and things like that. But it's just like when you get older and you see them, and you're like, oh my, you do have an aura about. Like all big cats have an aura about, but lions are on another level.
They got king aura. Yeah. But I'll tell you what. I mean, like my favourite big cat is snow leopard.
Yeah,
I love snow leopards. I think they are one of the most stunning animals in the world. Absolutely incredible.
My favourite big cat used to be the tiger.
Yeah.
And I do still have it. Yeah. I do still have a love for him. But in recent years, my love for jaguars.
Yeah.
I feel I don't know, just something about them. I think the patterns and then like the melanistic ones.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh my god, you are incredible.
And as well, like with jaguars, like when you think of big cats, when they hunt, a lot of big cats, because I mean they've got like the canines, always go for the throat. The jaguar's the only one that actually goes for your
head,
the actual skull.
Yeah,
they got such strong jaw. It's
that video. I think it was on like Planet Earth or something, where it's just like by a riverbank and it jumps in and literally pulls out a bloody crocodile.
Yeah, came
with its gob. Yeah. You're like, how have you done that?
Yeah,
how the fuck have you done that?
It was only a caiman. If that was a proper crocodile,
oh yeah, it would have been done for. But still, do you know what I mean? When you think of like the tough scales and like the skull thing of like a caiman or any crocodilian, for a jaguar to grab it and just yeet it out of its environment, where he's the king.
I'll tell you a surprising one: otters. I've seen otters. I've seen a video of otters killing a caiman.
Really?
Yeah. It wasn't a big caiman. It was only a little spectacled, I believe. But yeah, they killed it.
Jesus Christ!
You got to think like a caiman. It's
and we're talking about an otter. I mean, but how big's an otter? That?
Oh, they're Amazon River otters. They are quite big.
Oh, are they?
Yeah. They were just fucking about with it.
They're such cute little animals, but they ain't half arseholes.
Yeah.
Especially because obviously we used to go fishing, and the amount of places we used to go, and you could just tell they ransacked the place.
Oh yeah, a lot
which
of the time
is natural for them. Obviously, it's their diet. They're gonna.
But a lot of them they don't eat them all.
No, they just bite a chunk out of them and just leave them on the bank.
Yeah. And it's like use the whole animal.
Yeah,
for fuck's
grow
sake.
up, you little dicks. It's almost like they know the fishermen are here. It's like, should we piss them off, boys?
Yeah, is that right, lad? But I don't know why. I just got like a vision of like an otter is like sitting in a riverbank. You just go, "Will you grow up?" Like properly having like telling it off.
Sort yourself out. Look at the state of you. Look. Right,
you're gonna eat it all, or you get no dessert.
You're a grateful little prick. You get what you're given.
Oh dear.
Well, when Sam got back to his house, he quickly realised something was wrong. When it wasn't the only when it wasn't the only animal he saw. When he looked outside his house, he saw a lioness, 2 bears, one of the wolves, and a tiger, all just scattering around the property.
Could you imagine that? I mean, we're weird. So for
me, it would be. I'd love every second of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, for someone like him, who's his next door neighbour, so he knows he's got them. But when you notice a load of different animals just all scattered about, like, what the fuck is going on here?
Like predators.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I still say to this day, yeah, bears are scary and everything. Why would they give something so scary them ears?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Them little fluffy little ears that make you want to just go.
It's like that little video of that girl, innit? Can I pet that dog?
Yeah, no, the black there.
Yeah.
Like, why would you do that? Like, give it like bat ears or something.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, they give it these little flippy.
The thing that baffles me about this, right, so far, is like obviously he's keeping all these animals, so they're going to be relatively close to each other, but they're not all going to be in the same cages. You'd think when they're all out like this, it'd be like a Royal Rumble with this lot. They did not attack each other in the slightest.
Really?
Not one of them went for what? Well, I'll get onto it in a minute.
As
but
we know of.
Yeah, as we know of, they were just calm with one another.
Well, they got time to know each other, I guess.
Yeah. Just on the, like, cage here and a cage here, just a lion on one side, a bear on the other. It's just like, so what you in for, boss?
Yeah. Well, no, because there's that a bloke, he used to keep like load of wild animals. And he had a bear cub, a lion cub, and a tiger cub.
Oh, I think I've seen that. And they grew up with each other and they just knew.
Yeah. It was like they were like a little family unit.
Yeah.
It's amazing, really.
Yeah.
Like, you just wouldn't ever expect it.
No.
But fair play.
Yeah, so he decided to call the police. The police first went to Terry's house to find out what exactly had happened. They arrived. As soon as they arrived, they noticed a body lying in a field, which they instantly thought one of the animals must have done it. As they began to head towards the body, 2 tigers appeared out of the barn and began charging towards the police. Fearing for their lives, they had no choice but to kill them. As they once again began approaching the body, they noticed a white tiger chewing on the body. During this time, they was advised that 2 more cats were beginning to come out of the compound, and sadly, they had to be neutralised as well.
Yeah.
The police didn't know how many animals were out at this point, so they decided to contact the sheriff to decide the next order. They agreed that due to all the animals being aggressive and scattered all over the perimeter, with only a small barbed wire fence stopping them from getting out onto the streets, the use of tranquilizers would have been near on impossible with the number of police they had at their disposal.
Yeah.
So they unfortunately had to neutralize all the animals that was loose.
That's what I mean. Like, yeah, it's a cool story and everything, but like,
yeah, this is the sad.
The animals lost.
It's done nothing wrong.
No, they're just on instinct. You got to think, like, these animals have been caged like,
their whole lives, and now they've basically just been given the keys to the kingdom. Yeah, they're just exploring.
Yeah, they're exploring.
But obviously, because they're
everything's fair game,
and because they're in so cages and that, they're not obviously coming into contact with people a lot, other than realistically Terry and his missus. So when you see new people on the property, you are going to think, who the fuck's, do you know what I mean? What's going on here?
Something's moving, and it's just that instinct. Something's moving. If they're predators,
yeah, exactly,
they're going to eat them.
Exactly.
You know, like,
and then the thing as well with like big cats, once they get a taste for humans, that's it.
Yeah,
it's game over. Yeah. Like that. That's all they want.
It's that story in India. I'll have to try.
Is it the leopard?
No, it was a tiger, and I think it was a female tiger, and I think these people like killed her cubs or something, and she only had one eye. They took her eye out, and she went and killed thousands.
I see someone, because there's a YouTube channel I watch, and there's like this billionaire in, I think, India. And he's opened like this huge sanctuary for all these animals, and there's a leopard there. I think its name's like Love or something, and that, I think, is responsible for killing 50 people. And so the reason why is because obviously as India's population is growing, it's encroaching more and more on the leopard's habitat. Sorry. So obviously the leopard's being pushed more on towards civilian territories. It was just starving, so it ate one, and it was just like, oh, I like that, and it just went on a rampage and killed 50 people.
It's very known for a lot of animals. Like I say, sharks are one of the only animals, that carnivorous animals, that don't like the taste of human flesh.
Yeah.
Which
is bizarre. You'd think, obviously, jaws don't help.
Yeah, no, it's the media entirely.
Yeah, but you'd think, like, if you just naturally didn't know about these animals, you'd think they'd be one of the first ones to be like...
When you think of shark, a lot of people, and even myself, I'm guilty of it. When you think of sharks, you think of man-eaters.
Yeah, of course you do. It's just natural. Like you said, Jaws and like social media and things like that, they ain't helped.
Yeah.
But then especially as well, when you see so many shark attacks, but 9 times out of 10 it's because they're mistaken for seals.
100%.
Like, I remember in the Sea Life Centre near us, and they used to have that picture of like a silhouette of a seal and the bloke on the surfboard. Yeah. It's like, now you imagine you're in the depths of the water where it's darker, your eyes are sort of glazed over.
Sharks are
how identical they look. It's just natural that the shark's going to think was free meal.
Yeah, easy pickings.
Yeah,
that's what happens. And some people sadly don't get it lucky. Some people do.
Yeah,
and like say, some people have lost limbs or had like life-changing injuries.
Yeah.
But as well, it's not their fault.
No, because 9 times out of 10 it's just a bite. I don't like this, and let go. Yeah, but obviously, because of the size difference and the amount of teeth and everything, all it takes is one bite to do you in.
And as well as the bacteria, I didn't know this till recently, but the bacteria in sharks' mouths and teeth, when they bite, because they don't have toothbrushes.
No.
When they bite and everything, if you don't get it seen immediately, you can actually die of infection.
Yeah, which makes sense. Yeah. I can imagine that being the case with quite a lot of animals, in all fairness. When you think of the terrain they live in and the things they eat, like you said, no one's brushing their teeth. They ain't got dentists, so it makes sense.
But yeah, like you say, a lot of animals like big cats, crocodiles.
Yeah, I can imagine they're one of the worst.
When they get a taste, they do, because it's like Gustav, the famous Nile crocodile. Well, he's famous for people who love crocodiles.
Yeah,
he was massive.
Big old boy.
He is one.
If I remember, I'll put a picture up here of him.
Sweet. Yep. And he has never been caught. They've tried so many times, and it's got the estimated number. It was like over 300 people.
Which is mad.
300 people. And it was in the early 2000s. It was a French explorer. My mind's gone. But someone who studies reptiles.
Oh
my God.
Piss and hell. Keep thinking herbologist, but it's really not.
Herpetologist.
I was on the right track.
Yeah, herpetologist. And he went out to try and catch it, and the whole documentary and everything.
Yeah, and then that video of like a cage, and even he's just like, nah, nice try.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. He was so intelligent.
It was so, and when people saw him, he had loads of scars from bullets.
Yeah,
and he was documented. He is one of the only crocodiles to take on and win against a hippo.
Yeah, I was going to say. I swear there was something about
and
like
it was a male bull.
Yeah,
hippo.
Which obviously we've mentioned countless times. I think we mentioned it last week. Hippos are one of the only animals in the animal kingdom that you royally do not want to fuck with.
No, don't want to meet because they're just assholes.
Yeah, they will kill you because you're there.
Yeah, but he killed a bull.
That's
hippo.
what I mean. That's nuts.
You know, and he's never been found. They presume he is dead now.
Just say he was
old.
They're old.
Yeah, and they do presume he is dead now, but he's never.
What was the average? I know they can live for hundreds of years, but what is the average age roughly of a crocodile? 120 years, something like that.
Yeah, getting on for that. I think
so he must have been knocking on at least 130, 140, surely.
Yeah. But over 300 people.
That's mad.
And that was one crocodile.
Yeah.
But like I say, there was a tiger. I think I'm pretty sure it was a tiger that was like 200. I was gonna say thousands, but I think it was 200. But it was in World War II, and it was in Indonesia.
Mm.
Why they were fighting in Indonesia, I don't know, but it was somewhere like that. And over 2,000 people got killed by crocodiles.
I see that. Didn't Jay from TGF just do a video on that? Where he explored that island, yeah. He explored that island, and he was saying that they were just, like trapped on this island, and just crocodiles just came in and done them in.
And I think the Aussie troops said like we just sat there and
watched
and heard them.
Yeah,
well, just heard them getting ripped apart.
Same with the Indianapolis, isn't it? With the Sharks.
Yeah,
they just had a feast. It's just,
but like you said, regardless even of what I said, but it's because you got to think. Because I think in that area, because it was the splashing in the blood.
And it
didn't bring just one shark.
No,
it brought
hundreds.
So many. That's why so many people died. Because one shark to one, it was like 3 sharks to one
person. Yeah, it was just like you said, the blood and the splashing in that. It was just they just sent them into a frenzy.
Yeah, ringing a dinner bell.
Yeah,
but and everyone thought it was great whites, but it weren't. It was oceanic white tips.
Yeah,
that's what they believe is the main culprit.
Yeah. And then because of that, they've gone down as technically the deadliest shark because they were just killing.
Yeah.
They weren't a case of
like
bite and try.
Yeah,
these were
don't get me wrong.
Going for
there has been reports of rogue sharks, like rogue.
Yeah, it's natural in any animal kingdom, isn't it? You're going to get the odd one that is just thinking he's Billy Big Bollocks and just going on his own.
But it is very, very rare. They've done loads of tests, and a lot of them. When it's like they get like 2 different kinds of blood and that, and they just steer clear of people.
Yeah,
but it's what it is.
Yeah. So they had to neutralise all the animals that were loose. They did, however, attempt the tranquilizer method at first when a vet was on the scene and shot one of the male tigers with a tranquilizer dart. However, when doing so, the tiger instantly jumped out of the weeds and charged straight at the vet. And it would have got her if the police didn't shoot it when they did. So I think at that point they was like, it's just not going to work because it's going to take too long for them to be knocked out.
The thing is, because I wouldn't say we're activists, but we're animal lovers.
Yeah,
we love animals. But at the same time, if you was in like them police officers' shoes,
it is like I'll get onto it in a bit.
Tragedy.
It is that you're on the fence with this. It's like you can sort of get why they did it. Obviously, you'd prefer if they tranquilised them, but with that many, all of them, and because obviously
you've got to think of families.
With one vet, it's going to take a lot of tranquilizer medication. I'll just say to knock them all out.
Yeah,
but obviously, a grizzly bear's going to need more than a monkey, or like a male tiger's going to need more than a wolf. So it's trying to find that right balance and get the right one, and then if it don't go down, you then got to do it again.
Because they don't go down instantly.
No, they take a while. You know yourself, if you've been to a vet with even a dog or a cat, when they when they're having surgery or whatever, and they put anaesthetic in them, you know yourself. I remember when I took Poppy to get done, and she took the anaesthetic. She fought that thing for a good 20 minutes.
Yeah,
you could see her literally going like that, but she was like, "No, I'm staying awake." It's like, you imagine, and so that's a small husky.
Yeah,
this is a bloody lion or a bear or a tiger, exactly. Yeah, it's gonna take a lot of time. So it's sad. Yeah, okay, it could technically be done, but you can see why they're saying it is near on impossible.
Yeah, so
if it was 2, 3, yeah, not 50.
Yeah, that's
the issue. Yeah, like I was just saying, this began a split between the community, with many people stating that there could have been much better ways to handle this situation rather than kill the animals, although some understood the severity of the situation that the police were facing.
And it was time. They had no time.
Exactly.
Get it done now. It's not like we just ring matey at the engineer's place, he's going to make a load of more cages.
Yeah, exactly.
They had no time. It was
especially
like,
if you're thinking
now, or we're going to have a massacre.
Yeah, like you said, let's say, like for argument's sake, you see one of the grizzlies, you're like, right, okay, we'll tranquilise him. He's going to need a lot. Okay. He's still not gone down. Fuck, one of the lions is about to get out. Do you know what I mean? They have no time whatsoever.
They have no time. Like I said, I would have loved. Of course, we'd love if it was to handle, because it's not the animal's fault.
Of course not. But I understand in this situation, it could have. This is what I mean. How close it was to going haywire.
Yeah.
All it took is for one of them to break through the fence. They're all out.
Yeah.
So yeah, it quickly became knowledge that Terry owned 56 exotic animals. 49 were sadly put down. 6 remained enclosed in the house. However, one of the monkeys was never accounted for, although the police believe it was most likely eaten by one of the other animals. Like, to this day, they've never found it, so it's almost certain. You've got lions, tigers, wolves. One of them, bears. One of them would have got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Immediately following this incident, Ohio quickly banned the ownership of exotic animals and their transportation across state lines.
That's fair.
Because during this time, it was actually really laxed. Like, it was so... You know how we always say, like, how easy it is to get a gun in America? Back then, how easy it was to get one of these. If you knew a guy, you could keep it. There's legally nothing... about it.
And like you said, it still happens to this day.
Yeah.
Look at Joe Exotic.
Yeah.
Prime example.
Exactly. Where is it? A facility was after the law became like thingy. I think it took like 3 years for the law to officially get passed through. But afterwards, a facility was constructed to house the exotic animals that people could legally no longer keep. Mm-hmm. The animals were kept safely in this facility and correctly treated until they were found places for them to go, such as zoos and sanctuaries and things like that.
See,
so they weren't euthanized.
It's like it's that small sacrifice for a greater good.
Yeah,
because like you say, these animals they would take because it's like what would you say, like, I've got a bigger bollocks than you because I've got a tiger.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? But they could have been housed terribly. I'm not saying they all were.
I'm not being funny. Tiger King's a prime example.
Yeah.
He was doing the best. I'll get onto it again in a minute, but he was doing the best he can financially. But you look at it and you think, that is so bad.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Because it became an addiction for them to keep getting them.
Yeah.
And like, maybe for other people it weren't like that. And they probably gave them the best that they could.
Yeah. Which is what I've got written down here about that.
But then they done the right thing.
Yeah.
Of giving them to this facility.
Yeah.
Who had probably experts.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not saying they weren't. They probably you'd have to be to house them.
Yeah. You'd have to have a rough idea of what you're doing.
Yeah. Whereas these people are like they're experts at what they do.
Yeah.
They know exactly what that animal needs.
Yeah.
And then, like you say, going to zoos. I know people got this bit mass hysteria with zoos and everything.
Yeah.
But as well, I'd rather see an animal go to a zoo
than be stuck in
a steel cage.
Yeah.
Or put to sleep for
exactly.
For no
but
reason.
This again just shows that the animals that were killed, it was no other choice. Like, when they had the time and the controlled environment, look what they did. They built an entire facility for people's animals to come in so they can safely relocate it, which you know for a fact, I'd like to think, they would have done with these animals. But they simply did not have the time, the resources, or any chance of that happening. Yeah, exactly. So they did have no choice.
No. And like I say, it is an absolute tragedy.
Yeah.
It's a small sacrifice for a greater gain.
This story quickly became a worldwide story when a picture of the animals was released online showing a big hole being dug where the animals were buried inside of. And the reason it was is because obviously you see I've seen the picture. I won't put it up because it is sad. But you see the picture, all the animals dead, but they put them all in their own category so they could count because obviously they knew exactly how many animals they had. So it was like, right, so there's 18 tigers there, so they know they got every single one of them.
Yeah.
So again, I understand why, but it's just obviously the picture got out and it is a sad picture. Yeah, so a big hole being dug and the animals were buried inside of it. This is when animal activists and irate people began challenging the police for how they dealt with the incident, especially considering that many of these animals were on the endangered list.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. But say
again, yeah.
Say you was there.
Exactly.
You was there. What are you gonna do? You're gonna be like, "I love you." That animal don't give a fuck.
It's gonna do you in.
It's gonna tear you apart.
Exactly.
Yeah. I like to think I wouldn't say I'm an activist because I'm not a twat, but
I know exactly what you mean, though.
You get something they do go above and beyond, but they go about it the wrong way. Yeah. That's what I was getting at.
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean. But there's some, like, we can all say we're animal activists. We don't want to see these animals hurt, but then there are some people that are basically like the just stop oil with this lot, and you're like, just fucking stick them in a cage with these cats.
Yeah, you're not.
And then watch their story change.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like going on a witch hunt to these police.
Yeah,
officers.
It's like, come on.
If those animals got out...
It's a sad reality. I get that. I understand fully why you're angry. It is horrible. But if they got out, what would you expect then? If they got out, right, and started attacking, especially if they got to, like, where that football tournament was happening, and they started mauling kids, and these lot were still then trying to tranquilise it, you'd be the first ones kicking off saying, why didn't you fucking shoot it?
Yeah.
So it's like, you've got to look at the whole picture here.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure, like, the bear population, especially bears, because the others are like...
I think grizzly are not endangered, I know that.
No, but I mean, like, that are known in the area of Ohio and that. But even then, them bears have been so used to being in a the pub, not public, but in around people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In a public environment. They don't probably know life in the woods.
No, of course.
And also that could disrupt the whole bear population in the forest.
Yeah, everything could have gone so worse. Like I said, they could have attacked people, like you said. The populations could have dwindled because they don't know how to hunt and things. You see that so many times with like sanctuaries and that, and everyone says, "Oh, why don't you release it?" It's like, because if I release it, it will die. Yeah. Because it doesn't know how to hunt. It doesn't know how to defend itself. Yeah, okay, it's got its animal instincts of like back off or I'll hurt you.
Yeah, but so do their prey.
Yeah, exactly. This is the problem.
Think, the bears what are wild. They're better at hunting. Than what a caged one is, because they have to do it, or it's do or die.
Yeah.
Whereas these ones, they're gonna go for people because it's easier.
Yeah.
It's
especially as well when you think of like the wild bears when they fight for territory and that. These bears that have been in captivity, you release one of them and it encroaches on another bear's territory,
it's going to die.
It's going to maul it.
It's going to die, yeah.
Because it doesn't know, it knows naturally how to fight.
Yeah, but
it doesn't know how to defend itself fully, like this wild one does, because he's
you got to think as well. It being in captivity, it's probably got the size, but the muscle density is going to be completely different to one in the wild.
Exactly.
The one in the wild is going to be stronger. It's going to be a hell of a lot stronger, and it's going to batter.
It's almost like you've been raised in like a suburban area. Okay, you've had a couple fights here and there, and then I take you and go, right, now go fight Prime Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
He's going to batter the living shit out of you. So, do you know what I mean? You have to look at the whole bigger picture.
Yeah.
Once the incident was dealt with, the investigation began, starting with Terry's body. It was then officially determined that Terry opened all the animal cages, allowing them to run free and cause havoc on the residents of Zanesville. There's also reports that apparently there was raw chickens scattered around Terry's body, with some believing he wanted the animals to feast on his body after he had shot himself. Again, whether that happened or not, I don't know.
I feel like with that, they'd be drawn to the chickens.
But they wouldn't be necessarily drawn to him.
No, but they would, because he's there. They'll eat him, then they get the taste.
Yeah. So then it's like, right, go haywire.
Yeah, go on a rampage.
Which I know he's... Oh, hang on, I'll finish this before I get onto it. Sorry. An autopsy revealed that Terry was suffering from severe cardiovascular disease, which was dwindling his life. However, it is unclear how long he had or if he even knew about his condition. When Marion learned of the incident and arrived at the property, she agreed that the 6 remaining animals should be relocated to a zoo. However, when they passed, she requested that they also be buried at the property with the remaining animals. God knows why.
Take to a zoo. Actually, no, kill them.
Yeah. Well, no, I think she meant when they die naturally, she wanted the bodies to bury with the rest of them because obviously they were technically their pets.
Oh, that's kind of sweet in a way.
After the incident, exotic animal welfare became a huge talking point for the US government due to how many were being kept by personal owners in the US. For instance, there is estimated 4,000 Bengal tigers out in the wild, which is fewer than the estimated 5,000 captive tigers in the US alone, which is mad. Less in the wild than America has in captivity. Regardless of the rest of the world, America alone, that is mental.
Yeah.
The sad reality is that although a lot of the exotic animal owners do mean well, the truth is they simply don't have the funds or the proper infrastructure to truly care for them, which is what I was getting at when we was on about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially when you think that there are countless zoos out there and even they struggle with this type of thing.
Yeah.
So it's only unless you're like a major billionaire that you can realistically can't look after these animals to the true fullest.
No,
and that's the sad reality of it.
Yeah, because most zoos they're funded. You know what I mean? It's not just off like. That's why like they're such an attraction. Yeah, and the ticket prices seem a bit
extortionate, but they have no choice.
No,
especially when you go to zoos and they got like charity boxes next to certain enclosures and that, because any little they need.
Yeah,
especially like in like even the like the canteens and things like that. Do you know what I mean? Like the burger stands and things like that, and it's like 11 quid for a burger, and you think fucking hell, it's a torture. But it's like everything is going to them.
Yeah,
we need to keep up in the prices to look after them.
And a lot of people are really against zoos. I'm not.
I don't. No, I'm not against zoos. Roadside zoos, yes. I am against.
But like, say for instance, in the UK, like Colchester Zoo. Yeah. I know they're saying like, oh, it's wrong that they're caged up and stuff like that. But for like, especially like children, how often are they going to see a Bengal tiger?
They never.
How often?
Especially if they're like you said in the UK, we don't have them wild.
No, and the thing is, like with these kind of places, because a lot of them, like, there people go around doing talks and stuff like that. The kids want to see it, and it's like teaching them and the severity of their endangerment. Yeah, which then educates them. Yeah, to be like, we've got to do something.
Like we are lucky, like me and you specifically, because we grew up with Steve Irwin. And we both fell in love with him, and that is where our love for animals come from.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Obviously, we all know he's died. Okay, who we got now? Steve Batchel? Which, okay, he's good. He's not on Steve Irwin's level, but what I'm saying is...
No one can lace his boots.
But everyone in our generation at least watched one episode of something to do with Steve Irwin.
Heard of him.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know what I mean? And his love and passion for animals is what fed into like guys like me and you and others out there.
Yeah, but
that's not common now.
When I was a kid, like before he died, because he died in 2006, so that was when I turned 11. Mm-hmm. Day after my birthday, I'll never forgive him for that.
At least it wasn't on your birthday.
It's just as bad, I feel like, because I was like walking downstairs thinking I'm the boy. I've just turned 11. I'm what? And then coming downstairs, Steve Irwin's just died. It's like, oh, fuck my life. Mm-hmm. To be honest, that's when my life went downhill. But no. To that point of when Steve died, I was going to work with animals. Yeah. I know, like, I was dead set I was going to be the next Steve Irwin. I probably wouldn't have been him. Like I say, no one will ever be able to lace his boots. No. Because he was the man. Yeah. You know what I mean? But, like, I was going to do everything in my power to work with animals. Dangerous animals. Yeah. Was my thing I wanted to work with the most. Mm-hmm. Like crocodiles, sharks, lions, tigers. I don't care what it was, but it had to be a dangerous animal.
And the amount as well, like the amount of YouTubers I watch nowadays, and they all say the same thing. It all come from Steve Irwin. Yeah, because his passion just it just fed into you.
Yeah, but like when he died, my drive died with him. Yeah, and it's so sad because I'd hate to think how many other people's like that, and I'm so pleased there are so many other people that spurred him on even more for his memory. But it was, for me personally, it was like, well, he's never going to see me.
Yeah.
He's never going to, like, know me.
It's like, you knew it was going to happen, but the one thing I am glad about is that we are the perfect generation, obviously, because we grew up with Steve Irwin.
Yeah.
And like we said, our love for him and that. But now we're at that age where you watch his kids doing it.
Yeah, I know.
That is the most beautiful thing ever.
I
that
can't...
like, you look at Robert, and you're like, that is him. That is Steve reincarnated.
The thing is, I can't watch it.
I'll do. Because it's the closest you're going to get to his dad.
No, but I can't do it. Because it really makes me sad. Like, proper sad. And I have no emotion. I think that's bollocks. But ever since having him, I'm an emotional wreck. But I'm there and I'm like, he'd be so proud.
Yeah, he really would. He really
so
would.
Fucking proud. And
I know we've mentioned. Sorry to cut you off. I know we've mentioned it before, but obviously we all say about that. It's so lovely seeing his kids and that. The one person that it does is Terry.
Yeah.
The fact that because she had every fucking right to be like, fuck animals, I'm done.
Thing is, no.
But you know she never would have. But do you know what I mean? She had every right to be like, I can't do this anymore because every time I work with an animal, I think of him. But for her to go, I will carry your legacy forward, and obviously the kids are going to do it. But for her to be like, yeah, I will continue what we started almost.
Yeah.
And she's never been with anyone else or anyone else. Like, again, you wouldn't blame her. She has got every right to.
No.
But she is the epitome of like a ride or die.
Yeah, 100%.
She, do you know what I mean? She's the ultimate one. Big up Terry Irwin, man.
It is that interview she done, and they say, I think they even asked her, like, it was a little while later, and they was like, do you ever see yourself like
with someone else?
She was like, no. He was my prince. So it's just like, fucking hell, it gets to you, man.
It really does.
And
but you can see as well, this is what I love. This is why I like watching it, in that you can see the pride in her eyes watching Robert and Bindi do it as well.
Yeah, 100%.
And continue it and just take it further. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, the dad, when you look at, I think it was one episode, and it was when the Crocoseum first opened, you know, the show thing they do. When they like revamped it and like made it nicer and all that shit.
Yeah.
And
that's just when they built it, they didn't have a Crocoseum.
Yeah. And when they it was Robert working with the big saltwater, the albino looking one.
No, it was Murray.
Was it Murray?
It was Murray, because the first crocodile that they used in the Crocoseum was Murray.
Right.
The saltwater crocodile.
Yeah.
And it was one of, I think it was Robert's like first individual one.
Yeah. And it was like, you see the pride because it's like Steve worked with that same crocodile. He was the mascot crocodile.
Yeah.
And to see Robert.
Nah, the mascot. There was 3 that were the mascots for me personally. The crocodiles. There was Akko.
Yeah.
Which was the largest.
Yeah.
There was Agro.
Agro, that's the one.
Agro.
That's the one that I'll see the episode on.
And Charlie.
Yeah.
If you, like, for people who watch Steve Irwin, Charlie was the one, and he was in this concrete pit, and when they got him out, and he was ferocious. Like, that was a man-eater.
Yeah.
Because of how poorly Tret he was.
Yeah.
He was in, let's say, it was a concrete pit, and it had fuck all in there. Little bit of water and not even mud. It was just concrete. And they got him out. I mean, how they got him out, it still baffles me, because crocodiles weigh a lot. But it was the sores and everything.
Oh, bless it.
And it had, and it's, I mean, I think it's still alive, but and it's still got this hatred of people.
Yeah.
And Steve, like, for a lot of people, put him on. Steve's like, I do not blame him.
No, he's got every right.
He has got every right to hate people, but I don't care if he wants to kill me. I'm saving it.
Yeah.
And that's what made him
the goat.
The goat.
Yeah.
That is, yeah.
But yeah, there was an episode I watched, and it was with Agro. I remember now you said that name. And Robert was working with him, and it was when Terry said, Steve's worked with that exact crocodile.
Yeah.
And obviously, and now to see Robert working with it is like, that was like the epitome of, he's following in his father's footsteps.
And
they work with the same bloody animal.
Yeah.
How rare that is. I know obviously we've said it before, like crocodiles live so long, but you couldn't imagine that with a lot of other animals, because obviously they would have passed by then. For them same bloody animal, from Steve working with it in like 97.
Yeah.
And now we're in 2025. and Robert's working with. Do you know what I mean? That is mind-boggling.
Yeah, like I say, I remember being a kid. I was obsessed.
Yeah,
like it's borderline creepy when I think about it. Like, I was obsessed with that man.
Yeah,
he was my hero, my everything.
Yeah,
like you know what I mean. Like, there wasn't a day that went by that I didn't quote him or watch something of his. Or just try and beat him.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And let's say, and then when he died, it was like. No point now.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And then I've gone on to do what I do.
And I feel as well, there wasn't an animal he hated, whether it be the most minute, pointless, bloody insect. He'd love that just as much as he would a bloody African elephant.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every single animal.
Yeah,
it's just like he's holding like a bloody funnel web. It's like, hey, look at this little beauty. It's like, beauty, it's fucking clap. Look at the state of it. What are you on about, beauty?
It's the video as well. He pretty much stopped an argument between two kookaburras.
I seen that the other day. That come up on the TikTok where he just got on his little bike, wasn't it? And he just jumps in. He's just, just holding them both. It's like,
no one else could do that.
But even if anyone else done that, you'd look at him and go, what the fuck is wrong with him?
Yeah, but because
with Steve Irwin, you're like, yeah, makes sense. Of course he can stop a bird arguing. Do you know what I mean?
And I think one of my favourite episodes of his is when he saw the orangutans. And it shows, really, that animals loved him because he's up a tree and it was with a mum orangutan. And she had a baby.
Bring the baby to yeah.
And she was loving him. And he was like, I've fallen in love with another woman and that. And he was getting so emotional, which they made me emotional. I'm getting emotional now. I ain't even going to lie to you. Because, let's say, he was everything to me.
He was incredible.
And
like you said,
I kick myself now. Big time.
Yeah.
Because I was 11. I went to high school, and it was like, there's no point. I had a love for animals.
Yeah.
I will do. But it was like, I didn't push
follow
myself.
It, yeah.
I didn't push myself to go and do it.
Yeah.
You know, because it was like...
Where is even the closest zoo to us? Or anywhere that like works with big animals like that?
I mean, you got Banham.
But how far away is that? 2-3 hours?
No, not even that.
Isn't it?
No, it's this side of Norwich.
Oh, right. I thought it was further.
No. But, like... Yeah, I mean, because, like I say, my gig was crocodiles.
Yeah.
And, like... we don't have many like crocodile places here.
I know there's that one in Huntingdon, but that ain't exactly old, is it?
No, but like, yeah, it's just
which we need to go to. It's got bears. It's perfect for the pair of us.
Yeah, it's true.
It's got crocodiles and bears. What more do you want? And lions.
Yeah, but like,
we ain't been.
It's just let's say I do kick myself. I mean, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't ever change what I'm doing now.
It's that beauty of hindsight, isn't it? You think, fuck, if I continued.
Yeah.
Especially when you watch like these YouTubers and they say the same thing and it's like, he spurred me to do this. I'm not saying, obviously it's quite hypocritical because we were literally just saying like that realistically, even though they love and care for the animals, there are certain animals that is just like, unless you are a multi-billionaire with like a 50,000 acre land, you're not going to be able to give this animal the full best life you fully can.
No.
You can do it to the best of your ability, but not to the best of the animal's ability. And that's the sad reality of it.
And like say, like, a lot, and then people say, well, that's the same with zoos. I get that. But let's say a zoo is an entertainment place, but it's also an educational place.
And as well, I feel it's a conservation place.
It is.
It's keeping the population alive, especially there are sanctuaries do it more than zoos, but obviously when you look at like the rehabilitation program and like breeding program, it's like, so we want to have X amount of these animals bred in captivity so they can be released into the wild because they're young enough,
or at least like not even just wild, but like nature
reserves
parks
and things like that. So the population does survive. Because the sad reality of it is
so many animals
are dwindling. Look at the fucking white rhino. Extinct.
Gone. My son will never see a white rhino.
That's what I mean. It's so fucked. And there are so many animals, like I literally just mentioned with the Bengal tigers. 4,000 in the wild, but 5,000 in captivity in America.
I think Sumatran tigers, they're like next to fuck all.
Yeah. I think I see something. It was like, even though the lion itself isn't on the endangered list, the West African lion, there's only 250 of them left in the world, which is nothing. It sounds a lot, which it is a lot. But in the grand scheme of things,
fuck all. It's not even
like to put it into context. We were just on about football, right? Obviously, I'm a United fan. Old Trafford holds 74,000 people. 250 seats out of 74,000 is like, what, that?
Yeah.
And that's how many West African lions are in the world. Do you know what I mean? That is mental.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
It is so sad.
And it is situations like this, like you said, horrible thing that happens, but for a greater cause, that these animals are no longer being kept in such piss poor conditions.
In back gardens. It's like that guy of I know, again, he's a prime example. He's doing it to the best of his ability. He owns I see it, somebody done a documentary on him, I think it was called like the British Tiger King. And he owns like 3 lions, a cougar, and that literally by the M4 or something. Literally his house is here and the road is right there. Didn't Hashtag Brady go there?
Yeah. And again, he's doing it to the best of his ability and that.
It's going to get to a point.
But it's going to get to a point where, do you know what I mean?
He can't.
Yeah. And especially as well, what we haven't mentioned is these people doing it to the best of their abilities with the space and the funds and that they got. But then you've got all these other people around them that are constantly bombarding you with things like, which is natural, like things like safety of the public, the animals' welfare, things like that. What precautions if it does get out? How are you gonna? Do you know what I mean? You've got all of it. It's good. It'd be a constant headache.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you know what I mean? It's like we'd all love. Every person here would love to have an exotic animal. They would, just because how cool would it be?
Yeah, that is.
But when you look at the whole picture of financially, the space, the people, the backlash you're gonna get with people saying, "No, you're doing it wrong," or "It shouldn't be there. It should be in the wild," or "How are you gonna look after it in this situation? How are you gonna do this?" Do you know what I mean? It's not worth the fucking hassle.
No.
Fuck that.
No, like you say, as scary as it'd be, I'd rather see like a crocodile or a bear or something. I'd rather see it in the wild.
Yeah. Because it's where
the chances
it should
are
be.
It's very slim. The chance are is incredibly slim. But I'd rather that than having one and seeing it just
caged in and that, because they can't speak for themselves. But it is that whole cliche of you see it in their eyes. The prime example of that, I think, the one animal that you can just tell by its eyes is an elephant.
Yeah. Big
they
time.
are just so. I don't know what the word is to describe an elephant, but they are just so aura. Do you know what I mean? You look at that thing's eyes.
Magical.
And you know what that thing's thinking.
Yeah.
So much. It's like, I'll have to send you the link to that video I showed you about that billionaire. And the things he's got, because like obviously, well, he's a billionaire, he can afford it. But like, he's got massive like things for like elephants as well. To the point where he's got these animals the elephants he's got were like in roadside zoos and circuses and things like that. And because and I think a load of them was in the logging industry where they're carrying like obviously tons of logs behind them. They've obviously got arthritis and that.
Yeah.
He's even got this, I think it's like 2-acre plunge pool for them just to take the weight off the thing so they can relax for a bit.
That's what I mean.
It's what I mean. So much he's got, and you're like, that is incredible.
And as well,
but he has to be a billionaire to do it.
Yeah. And as well, because he can afford the people
exactly
to look after him,
exactly,
to give them the right care.
That's what I mean.
I've said before on here, I want a crocodile or an alligator or some sort of crocodilian, like, because you can get them. If I got a DWA license, I can get one, and I would love one. But I'd rather not have one, and whatever crocodile I'd have had a better life.
Exactly. It is so. You get why people when you see things like this on like TikTok and that, and you get why people are moaning saying it shouldn't be there, it should be in the fucking wild. It's like, I completely agree with you, but
it's too late for it.
It's not in the wild. I can't just take it, because even if you could, right, let's say you could take a crocodile, drop it in the wild, and it would thrive. You still can't do it because it's illegal. Do you know what I mean? So it's so. People don't realise. It pisses me off when you see people that are like, "Oh, it should be the wild. You're fucking cruel." It's like, I get it. I understand fully.
Yeah.
But I'm doing what I can to the best I can.
Yeah.
How can you not fucking see that?
And
some people are. Yeah, they're wank with it. They are just in a poxy little cage and they think they're looking after it. It's like, no, you're not. You're killing it.
Yeah, you're depressing it.
But the ones that are doing as good as they can, it's like, do you really think I need you piping up behind me?
Yeah.
When I'm literally putting myself in a financial struggle to look after this thing.
Yeah. Like, I've got, But something just popped in my head. We're not saying all captive animals don't thrive in the wild, because there has been a lot of cases where they have.
Yeah.
The one that sticks out for me, it was a British couple, and they bought a lion cub from
I
Harrods.
thought you was going to mention that.
And I think we spoke about this on the...
That's nuts, you know.
on
The
UK.
Harrods used to sell, like, crocodiles and lions and shit.
I think I spoke about it. It was on the UK Big Cats episode.
Yeah, I think you did.
And they bought this lion cub. Let's say a lot of the time it's novelty. It's not like, I actually really want to care for it. It's a novelty. Like, yeah, I've got a lion. Because it would be cool.
Yeah, of course. You'd never lose an argument again.
No, and they looked after it the best of their ability, but they knew it was going to get too big. And it was at a sub-adult. And they released... Well, they had a team and everything, and they released it back into the wild. And they was like, right, okay, they're saying like there's a high chance it ain't going to thrive, it will get killed or whatever. They was like, it's got to try, it's going to do better there than what it would at home. And no zoos would take it or whatever reason. And they went back years later, and they got there, and they said like, how's he doing? They said like, we can't.
Unbelievable, yeah.
It said it's now a leader of its own pride and everything. They said, well, we want to go and see him. They said, well, he ain't going to recognise you because
it's been too long.
It's been too long. He's a leader of a pride. He's going to be very protective. They called it over, and it ran.
Bolted, yeah.
It ran at
just leapt into their arms, didn't it? Yeah.
And cuddled them.
It's incredible. And there's so many videos out there like that.
Yeah.
It's like they don't forget. If you look after them, they know. Even though they've got the wild instincts where they can hurt you, they don't necessarily intend to hurt you. It's just one of them things that happen. Obviously, if the lion's jumping up at you wanting to play for like a lion does, realistically, a human can't take that.
No.
So it might kill you, but it don't intend to kill you. No. It's just playing.
And
but so many animals, when they realise when they've been looked after or they've done, do you know what I mean, track right, they know.
Yeah.
And they will never forget that.
No. And honestly, the thought of that, like, it must have been so good for them to think we done right.
Yeah.
Because that had been playing on my mind. Have we done right? I didn't want to just get this novelty item, put him in the wild for it to get absolutely butchered.
Because didn't it go back and bring the pride to them as well, didn't it?
Yeah, brought a couple of its mates.
Yeah, that's what I mean. There's like, again, they can't talk, but you know for a fact he's going, these two saved my bloody life.
Yeah, these two are sound.
Yeah.
You'd be good.
You look after them. You heard that you got a problem with them, you got a problem with me.
Yeah, and there's one in I think that was in Indonesia, and it's the most unlikely animal. It is a crocodile. It was a man who saved a crocodile.
Yeah.
I think it was caught up or something like that, and it came back every year.
Yeah.
And he used to have
just sit in the river with it, didn't
he?
He just like stroke
he used to put it on his back and rub its belly and shit. And it's like,
I mean, they know.
And the thing is, you think it's more likely with a lion, being a mammal, being like, because like with cats.
Yeah.
You think it's more likely with that than a cold-blooded reptile
that has been around since the dinosaur era. Do you know what I mean?
Before the dinosaurs.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That's what I mean. Like the crocodiles
they've been way longer than us. Way longer than us.
Yeah.
But they still know. This is what I mean. It's so the animal kingdom is so bizarre because it is. It really does. It is the one thing I think more than anything, other than the planet itself, that brings out the best and the worst in humanity.
Oh God, yeah.
You can tell who is a good person, who not, simply by just putting them with an animal.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether they're afraid of it or not, you can just tell how they act, how they react with it, and things like that. And the animal just knows like that.
Yeah, 100%.
Even if it is a wild animal, they just okay, they might be defensive or protective or aggressive or whatever, but they know straight away if you're a good person or you're not.
Yeah.
And that is the beauty of the animal kingdom.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. But no, I just love animals. Honestly. And like I say, it is absolutely tragic that had to happen. But it had to happen.
But it has been, like you said, a blessing in disguise where it did make him open this facility where people can... Because if they didn't open that facility, we all know what would have happened. It's similar with like the dogs here in the UK that have been banned. They've been put down.
Yeah.
They've just been killed.
Either put down or released.
That animal has been killed, which effectively is technically putting them down in the long run because they can't survive 9 times out of 10. So it is that thing of just like, I'm doing the best for this animal. Okay, yeah, it deserves more. Realistically, it needs more. But please get off my back. Try and understand what I'm doing here. It's just people just need to...
just leave them alone.
Leave them alone, man.
Even though like that's like complete opposite of Steve Irwin, like because he was always didn't matter what it was, he was grabbing it.
Oh yeah.
But
again, he treated with respect.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Obviously, when he's grabbing a snake's head, he's got no choice. If that thing bites him, he's dead. But do you know what I mean? He's going, oh, careful, mate. Do you know what I mean? You're all right, fella. You're all right, fella. Like it understands. He's going, what do you mean I'm all right? You got me by the throat, you cunt.
Yeah. Nah, he was always by the tail.
Yeah.
He was always
9
by
times
the
that.
tail.
Yeah.
Which turns out snakes aren't a fan of, because mine weren't. But no, yeah, he was always by the tail.
Yeah.
And like you say, that's the thing as well. He spoke to them.
Yeah. He checked them. But nah, just love animals, man. Just love animals.
Just respect them.
Yeah.
Like I say, like
that was the epitome of Steve Irwin. He didn't only just love them; he respected.
He respected them, and he was going to do everything he can to save them. Mm-hmm. But there's that interview in there.
Yeah.
But he was like, "I want your money. Give me all your money. I love money." He said, "But what's the flash car or gold have done mean to me?
Yeah,
Nothing.
nothing.
I'm going to buy land. I'm
Yeah.
going to save the world."
Yeah.
And it was just.
And that's the heart-wrenching thing is that
where would we be?
He's not around to see the good he's done.
But what gets me as well, what makes me think as well, like he's already done so much, and he's one man. But imagine what he'd have done if what would be it like now if he was still here.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly. Especially when you look at everything that has happened and he's not here. If he was here, it'd be on another.
It's a butterfly effect.
Yeah.
Because if he was still here, the world could be in a completely different place.
Yeah.
Good or bad, don't know.
Yeah.
I'd imagine it's good because Steve Irwin. But do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I get it. Like, his family's doing an incredible job keeping his name alive and everything like that. But if it was him, the main man himself.
Yeah.
You know.
Do you know the only bittersweet thing about it is that he lost his life to an animal?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like it was the perfect way for obviously, realistically, come on. The crocodile hunter, the perfect way for him to go would be mauled by a fucking crocodile.
Crocodile or venomous snake.
Or something like that.
But the fact said that is
one of these days they're gonna get him.
Yeah.
But the fact it was an animal that got him though. If he was to die in like a car crash, or something like that, it'd be so much worse.
Yeah.
Because it's like the world's ripped it from him.
Yeah.
But the thing he loved is the one that
he died.
He would have not died. Yeah, he would have not wanted to die any other way.
No, 100%.
Let's be honest. If you gave him the option of you could be stabbed in the chest by a stingray, or you can die in your bed with your family around you. He's picking that stingray every single time.
I don't know, because he's a smart man. He was a smart man. He'd have known what would have happened after he died, which did happen.
But he even said that as he was dying, didn't he?
No, I
thought he said something like,
"Nah."
Oh, I thought. Whether I read that then is bollocks. But yeah, I swear I saw something and he was saying like, not the animal's fault.
No,
or like he fucked up.
No, it was Terry.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. But that was the thing. The man who devoted his life to saving animals after he died by a stingray, which he was the first man in 100 years, because of course he was.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake. The irony of that is just mad. People went and culled.
A fucking witch hunt on stingrays, mate.
Killed so many stingrays. And it got to the point like Terry was begging.
Fuming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Do you really reckon he ain't looking down at you thinking you're a disgusting piece of shit?
Don't get me wrong. When I found out,
I hated stingrays for a while, but I didn't want to go out and do them in.
I wanted to go see it. I wanted to punch him. Just start going to CeeLo Centre, just knocking him in the lap. Like, this is for Steve. But at the end of the day, he'd be rolling in his grave.
Yeah. And as well, especially when you look at the bigger picture, because it was his mistake, weren't it?
Yeah.
It
was a terrible accident.
Yeah, it was a complete accident. If him, who's grown up and devoted, like you said, devoted his life to animals, even he can slip up.
Yeah.
And it unfortunately cost him his life.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? The stingray didn't just look at him and go, "No, I don't like you. Come have it."
Yeah. It just
because just defensive. It was just get away from me.
The thing is, if you don't know, like the stingray was in, he swam over it from the back.
Startled it.
Yeah, create the shadow, start the stingray, and it done
what it would do in any other situation.
Intended.
Just
yeah, and
the barb went through his chest and unfortunately killed him.
Yeah.
Because did it go through his chest or did it go through his heart?
Heart.
I think yeah.
Thing is, and it was his instinct. If he kept it in, there would have been a higher chance for him surviving. He probably would have still died from his injuries. But there was a higher chance, but it's because he pulled it out.
Yeah.
And they're
barbed,
barbs.
aren't they?
They're barbs. They are barbed.
So obviously,
So
it's
he tore himself,
serrated like all of the surrounding area, and
just done him in. And honestly, like, there is a lot of times that I don't think about him.
No, I know what you mean.
You know,
He's our god.
Yeah,
he is our god.
100%. Like you say, there's a picture in there. There's like the three people. There's that Mr. Rogers, Bob Ross, and Steve Irwin. And it was like Mr. Rogers was like, be kind to others.
Mm-hmm.
Bob Ross was be kind
to the world or something like that. And Steve was be kind to animals. And like, regardless of whatever anyone, especially in the UK, the fourth person on that list of that Mount Rushmore is David Attenborough.
Yeah, 100%, and he's 99.
It's sooner rather than later.
And that's what I mean. We had the golden generation.
Yeah. Did you see that video of him where he come out and said, "I have not got long left, but if there's one thing I'm going to do is try and educate as many people as I can to save this fucking planet." I
think, but as well, like the thing with Steve Irwin compared to like
the others,
David Attenborough, Jacques Cousteau, and people like that, it's because of how fun he was.
Yeah.
So then people,
I never see, like, even though like he got teary with some animals, I never see him like miserable.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Or like, okay, he got frustrated sometimes, but you never see him like pissed off, like, or like an actual human. Do you know what I mean? Where they just have an off day.
He was just hot.
He never had an off day in his life.
He was buzzed all the time.
Yeah.
But like, because Jacques Cousteau or his son come out and like really berated him.
Really?
Saying like how because he gets hold of animals, saying it's the wrong way to go about it. You want to see, like, respect them from a distance. But the thing is, like, for people like with Jacques Cousteau and people like that, you've got to have an already interest.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're not going to give a shit.
No. Because if because for a lot of people, stuff like that, if you just flick through, it's like, oh, it's boring.
Yeah,
carry on.
Yeah, especially if he's like standing at the fire with his personality. He's like, "Have a look at that beauty there," and it's just a snake just sitting there. You're like, "Oh, it's just fucking sitting there."
No, but what I'm getting at is like with Jacques Cousteau and that, but with Steve, because of his flamboyance and stuff like that,
it's what drew you in.
It was funny.
Yeah, it was what
kids laugh.
Yeah, exactly.
Parents laugh.
I know that was his personality, but even if that was just like a whole game plan
Persona
character,
worked.
He played that perfect.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And it didn't matter if he was Tom, Dick, or Harry. You watched it because you just like, what's he doing now?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas like someone just narrating like, "Oh, here we have is a jellyfish."
Yeah.
Like,
but the only person that works for is David Attenborough, and that's because of his voice.
Yeah, but even then, I feel like it's harder for like the younger audience
to get attached to that.
Especially
nowadays.
Yeah, let's say we
like you said, we had the lucky generation because we didn't have phones and shit like that when we were growing up. I make it sound like we're 60, but do you know what I mean? Yeah, okay, we have phones, but we didn't have like phones like nowadays. We didn't have game consoles and all that shit like we do nowadays. You had no choice but to be bored. So you had no choice but to watch TV. And that's where the likes of Steve Irwin and David Attenborough and things like that, they drew you in. Because again, like with Steve Irwin with his personality, David Attenborough with his voice
and cinematography
and everything like that, it just worked.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it just wouldn't.
No,
it wouldn't. And it's so sad.
No, and honestly, I'm worried for the younger generation.
Oh, 100%.
Like for my boy and that. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm going to be finding all the fucking Steve Irwin videos I can, but I won't be watching them because I'll be just sitting there fucking bawling my eyes out. He should be here. You know what I mean? But like, there's going to be so many kids that are going to be on their phones or whatever, and you might get the occasional video of like a crocodile or a lion or something, or if it's on fucking Disney or whatever. But there's just not going to be.
You'll watch it and think, "Oh, that's cool," but it won't have an effect on you.
No,
it won't have a lasting.
Not the effect like what Steve had on me.
Yeah.
That's the only. Let's say I can't watch any of his videos at the minute. Still.
Yeah.
And that was nearly 20 years ago.
Yeah. Fucking yeah, it'll be 20 years next year, won't it?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
And I can't watch any of his videos. Well, I can, but I can't watch them for long.
No, I know what you mean.
And like I say, it's 20 years ago, but he still had that much of an effect on me. And for my love of animals.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell.
It's getting dark. Well, not dark, but
Yeah.
No, but I think that wraps it up. Because, but no, shout out the Owens, man. Shout out the Owens. Right, so, Ed, what are we doing next week?
It took me to a place there. But no, next week, we're going to Maryland. I think it's in Maryland. But we're going to be talking about the Pope Lick Monster.
The what?
The Pope Lick Monster.
Whose even is it on?
Also known as the Goat Man.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I didn't know what you're getting. I was like, what, some creeps licking the popes? Yeah. What's going on?
No, the Goat Man. The Maryland Goat Man. So I'm not going to go too far into it, but he's half man, half goat. And it's mainly surrounding a bridge.
Oh, okay.
So is it an animal? Is it a science experiment gone wrong? Or is it just a load of bollocks? We'll find out next week.
But no. Hope you have enjoyed this episode.
No, don't do it yet.
What?
Gotta go through it.
Yeah, I know. I was leading up to it.
Oh, no, because that's when you usually do
the
end.
No.
Sorry.
You're all right. What was that? Yeah. Hope you've enjoyed this episode. And if you want to listen to more, Ed, where can they find us?
Well, you can find us on Facebook, which is Mr. Mysteries in Black and White. You can follow us on Instagram, which is Mr. Mysteries _ Not the word, the actual underscore bit. You can every time, man.
This is
every
so good.
time.
The thing is, if anyone's listening to just the audio, they'll be going, what the fuck are they on about?
Yeah.
Well, they got a big obsession with Instagram. What's going on?
Which, if you haven't seen, we've just hit over 500 followers.
Come on. Big up every single one of you. My G's.
You can follow us on X or Twitter, whatever
Musky Boy wants to call it.
Yeah, which is Mr. Mysteries 1. You can follow us on TikTok, which we do the occasional live. Very occasional.
Very occasionally.
And where we put like usually the funny stuff or whatever, which is Mr. Mysteries 10. You can email us, and that could be what you like theories you've got, like why did Matey Boy release all these? Why did Trigger Happy Terry release all these animals and shot himself? And why do you feel like the police had to do what they had to do?
Yeah. Or if you think there was another way it could have handled, let us know what it is.
But yeah, any theories, but that doesn't just have to be about this podcast in itself, but it could be about anything. Anything what falls under our category. If you have a theory about something, we would love to hear it. And also, it could be, so we've got theories, it could be criticisms, what you haven't enjoyed about the podcast, what you'd like to see different. It could be praises, which you prefer. So what you like about it, what you like about us, and what have you. That could be for collabs. So if you want to collab with us, that could be on an episode or a hunt or whatever. If you want to come on ours, if you want us to come on yours, or if you want us to talk at an event. An event like what we're doing later on this year at Parachat. Please get tickets and you come see your boys.
Yeah, boy.
Talking about cryptids and folklore monsters. Right up Josh's alley. Yeah. So if you want to collab with us, if you have an idea for a future episode or a future hunt, please let us know. Because we're always looking for places where we want to actually go hunting. But yeah, and that's our email. And our email is missandmysteries10@gmail.com. You could subscribe to our YouTube channel, Myths and Mysteries, which is a bugger to find due to the algorithms. So the best way is through our other socials, where you actually get to see us in our lovely podcast room. Hello. And that is where we put out our hunts, where we do our reacts, and when we do our interviews,
they'll all be on there.
Everything
that we do is on there.
Pretty much everything.
Yeah.
There's only so much we can put on the podcast.
Yeah.
Platforms. But yeah, please like, subscribe, and all that. Comment, all that good jazz. But also, yeah, with all the socials there, just interact with us.
Yeah. Talk.
Just like
we don't bite, we promise.
No. But also, like it said, we owe a lot of thanks to a lot of people. I ain't going to go for it too much because we'd be here all day.
Yeah.
But if you know, you know, and we thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So, Josh,
Yes.
where can they listen to us?
Well, even though you already are, if you fancy listening on another platform or all of them, you can find us on Podbean, Spotify, Amazon, Samsung, Podchaser, Player FM, and iHeartRadio.
Absolutely fantastic.
So, I think that wraps up this week. Thank you very much for watching or listening or both.
Yeah.
And we'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Happy hunting. Oh, you made a mess of yourself, mate.